Illustrations by Pete.
So today we are going to talk about fountain pens, how I like to use them. Sometimes I find things that are wrong with them, but I still love to use them. One of my favorite things to draw with is a fountain pen. I love the inks. I love the idea of the fountain pen. The angle that you hold it allows me to videotape it very well because I have to hold it at an angle so you don't get my hand, the back of my hand where you can't see the point of the pen. It's just overall, I love using fountain pens. Now one day, I would love for a company to contact me and say, hey, we would like to make a fountain pen just for you, designed to your specifications and how you'd like to use it. That would be amazing for me. Here's how I imagine that would go. Yeah, come on in. Take a seat over here. Listen, Jerry, I gotta get back to you. Pete's here. I'm gonna talk to him, see how this goes. I'll let you know. All right, thanks. Okay, Pete, so I want to design a pen with you. I want to see how you're going to promote it, what you're going to do with it. Let's hear it. Yeah, well, I love fountain pens. I think that they're nice. I like the inks with them. They're very interesting. Sometimes they're pretty. I like the different colors. And I'm going to doodle some pictures with them. You're going to doodle pictures with our fountain pens. I don't think you understand. Our fountain pens are known the world over. They're one of the most famous pens. They're the best standards. You should be writing novels and things like that with them. You're gonna doodle? Well, sometimes I'm gonna draw birds, or I'll draw something else, maybe a little house or something. You want us to invest in you, so you can doodle a house, or draw a little bird with our pen. Do you understand the materials that go into this? It's so fine-tuned that we need to hire gnomes just to get the details, the hand-done, in the little tools I can't even hold in my hand. They're so precise. They're instruments. They're beautiful. What? Are you listening to me? Do you understand what I'm talking about? You want us to do this with what? Jerry, what are you doing? The guy's talking about doodling things. He's got how many followers? They buy stuff. The last time he promoted our pen, did how much in sales? Really? So we're gonna let you design the box and put your name on it. So that's how I imagine it will go. It'll probably be nothing like that. Once I'm famous, maybe someone will want to work with me. Or maybe not, because I pretty much find the flaws in everything and just tear it apart. But I would like to be able to do that. I would love to customize the ink flow. That's the main thing with the fountain pens. It's the flow of the ink. If it's too scratchy, I don't like it. It's got to be smooth, and then the ink has to just pour out as you're drawing. It needs to be nice. And I've yet to find the perfect pen, the one that I really love the most. I mean, I have a couple things here that I like. I have a few that are good, but not that good. So we'll have to see how that goes. So it's a great time of year, and normally right about now I'd tell you to buy an Illustrations by Pete t-shirt. However, I don't want you to do that. What I'd like you to do is help out someone who needs it. If you have extra, help someone else out. If you're eating at a restaurant, maybe find someone who looks like maybe they're down on their luck. Pay for their meal. Pay for the person behind you at the drive-thru. Those kinds of things. Just random things that you could spend money here and instead you spend it over here. And I'll tell you what, not only do it anonymously, but not only will you feel better about yourself, but you could change that person's day. And it's very important, anything you can do to help someone else. And in the spirit of that, so I recently sold off my Nikon D5600, got a Panasonic G9, which I love, with a 12mm f2 lens. It's beautiful. It actually, for the most part, it may go in and out once in a while and pulse a little bit, but for the most part, it keeps me in focus. The other one, the other lens, terrible. The Nikon, the worst ever. I'd have to, I mean, there's hacks for it. You know, you can do the touch to tap thing and it keeps you in. But anyway, this is good. And I can move around a little bit and it keeps me in focus. It's kind of fun. I'm loving this camera. But anyway, the reason I bring that up, so I have, this is a telephoto lens, and I also have the macro lens, and they're additions to the kit lens for that Nikon D5600. You don't have to have that particular camera. It's a 55mm thread size, and as long as you have any lens with a 55mm thread, these will fit on it, and I'm giving them away. If you have a camera that uses that thread, let me know. I also have a set of filters. I have a UV filter and FLD filter, was a fluorescent filter, and also a variable, I believe this is a variable ND, but oh, I'm sorry, it's a CPL filter. So, but it is variable. It has a twist on it, and you can set that up. So anyway, if you want those, no one outside of the US, lower 48 only, just so it's easier for me to ship it. And yeah, so I'm going to be giving these away. If you have a lens that you'd like to use these, let me know. And I'd love to send them to you for nothing, just for watching. I appreciate you. And that brings up another thing. You know, you're going through YouTube a lot of times. You're just scrolling through to see a video, and you land on one. You like the thumbnail or the title. You think you may be interested. You click on it. You don't realize, and when I say I appreciate you, you have no idea. That can change someone's life. You just clicking, you're just not thinking about it, you're clicking on a video. You could be changing someone's life by clicking on that video. By watching my videos, you changed my life. This is something that I'm striving for, and I couldn't do it without you. I can't do this thing without you. You have to watch my videos in order for me to be successful. So when you just do that little thing, it helps. So here's another thing. If you don't have money to spend on someone else and you're not going to buy stuff anyway, find your favorite YouTuber, go through one of their playlists and just watch their videos. It doesn't cost you a thing. You're just donating your time, and it means the world to them. It really does help. Every little bit helps in doing something like this. So I do appreciate you. When I say that, know that I mean it 100%. This is not just lip service. I'm not just saying it so you watch more videos. I appreciate you when you watch a video, or you leave a comment, or you click a like button, or you've subscribed. Those things are life-changing for me. You're molding my future when you do something like that. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. And let's get on with the drawing. Now here's the thing. With this drawing, it's okay to be done with something. And a lot of times we don't see that. We don't know, what do you mean to be done with it? I only drew this little thing. The drawing I drew was like this big, but I was done with it. I was happy. What I had done, I felt like it was complete, so I stopped. It's okay to stop. You don't have to fill up the whole page. You can just draw the little thing and be done and call it done. And that's okay. And then I wrote a little poem at the bottom of it, letting you know that it's okay to be done. And then I left out a word which makes the poem useless, because I'm a moron and I should probably be fired. Let's get into that drawing. Okay, so I have now hit the 500 subscriber mark. Thank you so much for all of you who have subscribed and watched the videos. And one of the things I was most excited about was getting that tab, that community tab. But YouTube, in their infinite wisdom, has decided that there's two separate waiting periods. There's the waiting period where you have to wait until you can get to the community tab, and then once you qualify for it, you have to wait again. They said it could take up to a week, but it's going to be about a week. When you see this video, it'll be about a week from when I made the 500. So hopefully by Monday, Tuesday, when you're watching this, I can use that tab, and I'm going to annoy everyone on an entirely new level. No, I won't do that. I'm not going to try and do that. It may happen. Maybe once a week. I might post something, a poll, a question, and I'd like to hear from you. So like I said, this video was really designed because I was starting to do something, and I ended up thinking, hey, I think this is done. I think I should stop now. And so that's what I did. I'm using, this is the Moonman T1 pen. I think it's the T1. Moonman T1. It's a great pen. I love this pen. It's one of my favorite fountain pens that I have currently. And it's a great pen. And I put the Diamine Twilight ink in there. I had the other ink in there. I had that Noodler's ink in there. Same thing happened as all the other pens. It dried up. It wouldn't write anymore unless you push the ink through it. If you crank some out, then it'll work fine. But until you do that, it just dries up on the tip and doesn't work properly. So I ended up putting this ink in there. This ink flows wonderfully. It's a little bit, it's drier than my taste. But to be fair, I think every ink is drier than my taste, what I would like for it. So I've got these other pens that are kind of brush pens, and I'm going to fill them with ink and try and use them. We'll see how that goes. I'm not really sure how this is going to work because I don't know how the whole thing works. They're not very expensive, but they are good as far as what I've heard from reviews. So I'll do that in another video. For now, like I said, I love using the fountain pens. I really would love to have a manufacturer and talk to them about how to get that ink out better. Just so it flows, so it's so juicy that it just flows right out of the pen with barely any effort, and you lay down it's a nice thick or bold, or it could be a thin line. I don't care, as long as it comes out at a decent rate, as long as it spills out almost as you're drawing. That's what I would really like. Have not found that yet. I don't know if one of those exists. If you know of a pen that's more liquid than this, or an ink that's more liquid than this, maybe can't tell if it's the nib or is it the ink, because everybody swears by the Colorverse inks and the Diamine inks. They're so juicy, they flow right out of the ink. That's not a sentence. They flow right out of the pen. That's what I meant to say. But I haven't found that with anything yet. Not entirely. I know that I came close with that. The Noodler's Polar Black ink, when it first comes out of the pen, it flows beautifully. It does actually spill out, kind of. It pours out onto the page. It worked really great. It was the Parker Jotter. In that pen, it worked great. But after a little while, it stopped doing that. And then it dried up in the pen. And then I had to clean out the pen. And it was just, I don't know. It's not tremendously. I don't want to make it seem like it was a chore. It was very simple. You just twist the converter, you make a little bit of ink spill out, and all of a sudden it writes again. That's all that really needs to be done. Or you just take the whole thing apart and wash it out with water. It's not a big deal. It's not like I had to scrub it or stuff got stuck or it jammed the pen or anything like that. Everything worked fine after I cleaned it, but just the initial, after letting it sit for a little while and then going to use it again with that ink, it wasn't the best. It definitely would not write right away, and it was every pen that I tried it with, every single pen. So I don't know what they're talking about when they say, oh yeah, just keep using this pen. It'll actually help your pens write better and lubricate them and all this other stuff. It did not do that. Every other ink that I've had, including the Carbon Black ink, has worked better and not had a problem. You pick it up, you go to write, it writes immediately. It doesn't matter. I can leave it sitting on the shelf for a month, pick it up, and it'll start writing perfect again. But that one ink was terrible. So, and I will probably use it again, and I'll struggle with it again because it's a great ink. It really is. When you first put it in the pen, it flows beautifully. It's so dark and deep, and you get those large, dark areas that you can fill in, and it looks uniform. It really looks really nice, that ink. I don't really remember what my point was to all this. Here's what I know. This drawing, I did it until I thought it was done. I stopped. And sometimes that bothers me because I have this huge page and I want to fill it up with all these different things. And if I would have done this on the whole page, it still would have looked great. But I was just done. I got to that last little bit and I said, you know, I don't want to add any more to this. I'm finished with this. I learned everything I want to learn here. I've expressed everything I want to express. And then I did the little poem wrong, and you'll see that. But other than that, it was a fun drawing. I had fun while I created it. It was different than some other things I've done before. So Some elements were similar, but some were very different, and I enjoyed that. And I'm going to learn from that and put it into the next piece, which is always what I encourage you to do. Learn from what you're doing, put it in the next one. That's really the most important thing. Have we even learned anything today? Am I just talking in circles now? Okay, let's move on to another subject. So here's something I was really thinking about. I should probably make a whole nother video on this. Maybe I will, I'm not sure, but I've said this before. Artists have talent. They are talent that can't be. You can't teach certain parts of art. You can teach someone how to draw a straight line. You can teach them how to draw shapes. You can teach them values and things like that. Those are all teachable. How to create or imitate a photograph in a picture, and how to draw it, and how to see the shapes and the proportions. And you can teach all that stuff. What you can't teach is how someone sees the world. You can't teach that. Artists have a unique way of seeing the world. The colors that I see when I'm expressing something and I put some color in somewhere may not be the colors that you would put in, that you see. It's something that is specific to me. It's specific to the artist, specific to you. And I don't think people give any kind of credit to talent. The fact that you desire to create, you have to create, that bubbles up inside of you, you have to do it. And then the way that you do it and the uniqueness of how you do it, because even if you give everyone the same exact picture, if they just do technical work, then they would look the same. But the artists always have something that comes out in the art that's specific to them, that's unique to them, even if they're not doing it consciously. It's how they see things. It's how they see the world. It's how they want to express that. That's talent. That's the talent part of art. And it's okay to be talented as an artist. All the technical stuff, that's all skill. That's trained skill. I get it. You can be talented. Someone say, hey, you're talented. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I am striving to improve my technical skill, but the way that I see things is how I see them. The technical side is expressing them the way that you want to. You can teach that. You can teach color theory and all that stuff, but how you see it, and then that's all you. So don't let anybody tell you that you have no talent if you're an artist. If you're any kind of artist, no matter what kind of artist it is, you do have talent. And the ability to see things and express them the way that you want to express them. It's unique to you, which is what talent is. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't cringe when someone says the word talent. Most artists do. I don't understand that. I don't understand the way that their mind is working at that particular time when they cringe just because they've been told to. Yet most people say, hey, you're talented or whatever. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. But people are taught to yell back at other people. And I'm not talented. I'm skilled. I've put in a lot of work to do this. No one's debating that. That doesn't mean you're not talented. And I see people draw things and the way that they do it, that's not how my brain works. That's their talent. That's their ability, their natural ability to see things that way. And so skill definitely plays a huge part, but talent also plays a part. And it's okay to say that. So this was just a quick drawing. Just wanted to show you that it's okay to be done when you're done. And that's it. Call it a day. Move on to the next one. And I will see you in the next video.